Hey, what up YouTube? This is Leo Tapia11 and I'm finally back with an updated version of my Dark World deck. Sorry I haven't been posting any videos up lately. My internet was down for a couple of days, but now it's back. And also I was missing my camera, like I lost it, but I found it. And so I'm here with this updated version of my Dark World deck. It has cards that you guys suggested I put it in there. Thank you guys for commenting and giving my videos thumbs up and adding them to your favorites. Sorry I haven't answered your comments, but like I said, my internet was down for a little bit, and at the same time I've been pretty busy with like school and just life. So let's get to it. First of all, y'all know you got the Graphas times 3. You discard them and you pop a card on your opponent's side of the field. Just make sure you know that it says on your opponent's side of the field, because I've been misplaying. Well, like I did a couple of misplays where I had this card in my hand and my opponent had no cards on their field, and I had like 2 cards on my side of the field, and I thought if I would discard them it would blow up a card on my field, but no, if your opponent doesn't have nothing and you have something on the field and you discard them, it won't affect you at all. So that's what I was afraid of, and I misplayed that way, and I didn't lose. I ended up winning that duel, but just a heads up. You know the triple golds. You know what they do, discard them, you special summon them, 23 beater. Same with this one, you discard them, special summon them, 23 beater. And with the field spell card, these become 26s. This guy's originally at 27 and becomes a 28. You're still running the triple Browws. Discard them and draw your card. You're running triple snow. You either search for this deck. You discard them and you search any card with Dark World in its name. So you could search out for this field spell. You could search out for the Dark World dealings, or just any card that has Dark World in the card's name. And I'm still running the Morphing Spirit and the Sangan. Now these next 2 cards I've added, I fucking hate them, but I thought, I'm just gonna play test with them and see how it turns out. And I still don't have the card, so this is proxied. These 2 Solemn Warnings are proxies for Fabled Raven. As much as I hate fucking Fables, I gotta admit they actually help out pretty much. And with 2 tuners, you can now sync. This next card I've added was also suggested by you guys, and I've been play testing it, and it's like a 50-50. When I like, it's too situational, but it's still pretty good in this build. And that card is Dark Arm Dragon. It just comes out of nowhere, and most of the time during my duels, I've always had this guy out. I've had these triple guys out, and thanks to the Raven, I would have Stardust out. So, that's pretty much game right there. I always try to sync for Stardust just because Stardust is it's really hard to get over him. But that's it for the monster lineups. Not much has changed except for the 2 Ravens and the Dark Armed. Now for the spells. Still running triple Dark World dealings. One of my friends and some of you on YouTube have suggested to take this card out. I could see how I could see like I understand what you're trying to say by taking this card out, but still, in my opinion, I believe this card should stay in. If you think otherwise, please leave me a comment and make like a rational suggestion that saying why this card should be out, and replacing with what you would replace this card for, because they say it's like bad for the deck, or it slows down the deck, or some shit like that. But yeah, now I've cut down from 3 to 2, because 3 was just too cloggy in my hand, and at 2 it's more balanced at 2. 3 I usually have I have it on the field and I have the two spell cards in my hand, and there's nothing I could do. So I just run it at 2, and for this build, it's pretty good. All my builds are, I could say, they are okay, and it's just a situational. For this build, you need 2 cards because you're running the Ravens and the Dark Armed. 2 is good. Now I've added 3 Drag Down into the Grave. This card I prefer this card over, let's see, this card over this card, Dark World Dealings, because this card you get to look at your opponent's hand and you get to disrupt their gameplay. Another combo with this card is it's Drag Down into the Grave, and then Mind Crush. I think that's what it's called, Mind Crush, where you declare a card's name, and if your opponent has that card, he discards it, or if not, you discard one card, which you will get the effects of Dark World, which is a good combo for that. So that could be replaced with the Dark World dealings, but you know, let's move on. Double MST. So I replaced the triple Dark World Lightnings that I had in my previous deck. I replaced it with one Drag Down to the Grave and double MSTs. The reason why I did that, it was because Dark World Lightning is it doesn't guarantee to blow up something. Like for example, your opponent has a face down card and you go Dark World Lightning. They could chain to Dark World Lightning. They could go Call of the Haunted, or they could go Seven Tools, or they could go Magic Drain, or they could just chain to it, and you won't get the secondary effect, and it doesn't guarantee that you will destroy it. This card guarantees that whatever it targets, it will destroy, unless it's like a fucking solemn judgment and they decided to use it. I don't know why, but noob mistake. So double MSTs over Dark World Lightning. I'm running one Cheerful Coffin because sometimes I need to discard these bastards out of my hand, and I can't. So just one of them. And now just basic staples for that, I believe, for this deck: Allure, Card Destruction, Dark Hole, and Monster Reborn. Now for traps, I took out one Skill Drain because it was the same thing was happening with this card. It was just too clogged in my hands at 3. I would always have one on the field, and I would have 2 in my hand, or an extra one in my hand that I wish it was not there. I wish it was some other card. And also I cut down at 2 because now you're running the Ravens, and this will hurt the Ravens, and it will hurt your Dark Armed, as well as your Sangan, Spirit Reaper, as well as all these guys. Oh, not Sangan, just Spirit Reaper and Morphing Jar. So now you have 5 monsters that this card will hurt you. In my last format, I ran 3 because you didn't have the Ravens and you didn't have the Dark Armed. But so now it's at 2. And now this next 2 cards were also suggested by you guys who have been commenting on my video. I still have to find that card, but these are proxies for Dark Deal. What this card does is when your opponent activates a normal spell card, you activate this trap card in response, and that spell card's effect becomes your opponent discards 1 card. So just think about that for a second. What this card does is this card will protect your skill drains, and it will protect your field spell card. It'll protect them from heavy storm. I don't think it won't protect them from Mystical Space Typhoon because it's a quick play, and I think this card says only normal spells. So this card is pretty much a protector for your field. So let's say they activate Monster Reborn. You go Dark Deal. You pay 1,000. I forgot to mention that. You pay 1,000 life points, and that Monster Reborn's effect becomes your opponent discards 1 card. So if you would to have this card, and it gets chosen at random. So I guess you put your cards face down, you shuffle them, and you pick one at random. But let's say they discard this card. That means you will get its secondary effect of drawing an extra card. So instead of just drawing 1 card, you will draw 2 cards because your opponent activates that card effect. So this card will get its secondary effect, secondary effect, secondary effect, and that's cool. So these are, and like I said, this card now runs synchros, but you know the synchro deck is just basically the same BS that any other standard deck will run, such as Stardust, Black Rose, that Ice Barrier card, Brionic, Trishula, Armory Arm, Catastor, and so on. But yeah, that's a new build. Tell me what you guys think. One other quick look at it. I'll have the deck list on the description below, so if you guys want to play test this deck out. And I'm still not running tour guides. I don't know why, but no tour guides. It's too expensive card. And this deck is fairly cheap. If you get everything in common, like this card's gonna be comes in common, common, common. It's gonna be a fairly cheap deck, except for the Ravens. That's probably gonna be the most expensive card. They're like what, $30? But so anyways, tell me what you guys think, and I'll catch you later, YouTube.